Welcome to the Weird Library. I am the librarian. It is a pleasure to meet you here. Many have attempted, but failed to visit through various means where you have merely stumbled. Indeed, the stars must be right, and the mists have waned. Do not let the strangeness of these walls concern you, nor the vast collection of its tomes. I have selected a particular tale in anticipation of your arrival. A dimensional anomaly is occurring in the library this week. Though the library itself fluctuates in time and space, our portals within have suddenly become active. Locations that poets have described are suddenly glitching in and out of existence. There is some sort of cosmic soundtrack underneath it all. A Dream of the Abyss by Clark Ashton Smith. I seemed at the sheer end, albeit mine eyes, in mystery and night, shrouded as with the close deep call of death, or as if underneath Lethean lenters drowned, saw never lamp, nor star, nor dead star's wraith of light. Yet seemed I at the world's sheer end. And fearfully and slowly I drew breath, from silent gulfs of all uncertainty and dread, precipitate to nadir from around. Nor trusted I on any side to tread one pace, lest I should overstep the brink, and infinitely and forever sink, past eye-shot of the cyclopean sun, when from the bulwark of the world, adown oblivion, he on the morrow should stare after me. Swift from infinity, the enormous fear that lives between the stars, clutched with the cold great darkness at my heart. Then from the gulf arose a whispering, and rustle as of silence on the wing, to stay and stand anear at my right hand. What powers abysmal, born of the blind air, what nameless demons of the nether deep, that scape the sun and from the moonlight live apart, came and conspired against me there. I heard not, ere the whispering ceased, and a heavier darkness seemed to spring upon me, and I felt the silence leap and clasp me closer, and the sweep of the abyss reach up and drag body and feet from the crumbling uttermost crag to the emptiness unknown. Nor knew I, plunging through those nadir firmaments, if Azrael or Abaddon bore me thence, or if I fell alone. Pangaloor by Holt Keystone. By the shimmering sands of Pangaloor there live a knowing folk who, when the tide hangs slack, gather up their young and elders and flee, for their homes the temple, any staunch lee, and, looking not back, pray the seas will flood anew over the coarse, corpse-white span of the shore. For just beyond the port of Pangaloor there lies a certain reef that, when the tide sags low, exposes itself to the briny air, its rough, rutting mass of rude life laid bare, stretching to and fro, like a scar, pulpy and fat, upon mighty Lear's embarnacled hoar. And on that writhing reef of Pangaloor there stands a carven stone which, when the tide falls flat, reveals itself for all to see and spurn, for who can gaze upon it and not learn of eldritch things that once ruled this earth with minds rich in such dark arts as gentler hearts deplore. Then to that ancient town of Pangaloor there comes a sombre hour too, when the tide slinks out. Refrain from laughter to restrain each smile, to cower neath squat roofs of squamous tile, to go not about, the day's commoner adieu, to shade all windows and answer no door. As beneath the wan moon of Pangaloor there wakes a loathsome life, so, when the tide wanes thin, from the gurgling damp of wide cavern maws, pale chitinous limbs and chittering jaws may send down a din of prayers full of want and woe to strange gods sleeping below the seafloor. Yet of all that may dwell in Pangaloor, there are none so abhorred as, when the tide bows deep, those who, casting off ties to kin and kind, venture forth from their homes hoping to find the horrors that creep on and in that reef that has weathered ageless onslaughts of tidal bore. While in the civil halls of Pangaloor, where fester suspicions and, when the tide runs scared, the pious call the guilty to confess of blasphemous tattoos masked by a plain dress. Yet when flesh is bared and there is found not one brand, none dare speak the question their hearts implore. Do in the emptied streets of Pangaloor there go scurrying about, when the tide shrinks back, crypto-cultists sworn to chthonic races, secret infidels with cordial faces, wreathed in woven wrack, zealous to join in the shout, arising from the brood of Lear's chill spore? Thus in the dim temples of Pangaloor there sit prophets who speak of, when the tide goes dead, a great wave that shall soon cast its umber o'er sunken cities where dead gods slumber, and in waters red drown all human bonds of love in the cool disdain of titanic war. The Nightmare Lake from the Ancient Track by H.P. Lovecraft. There is a lake in distant Zan, beyond the wonted haunts of man, where broods alone in hideous state a spirit dead and desolate, a spirit ancient and unholy, heavy with fearsome melancholy, which from the waters dull and dense draws vapors cursed with pestilence. Around the banks a mire of clay sprawl things offensive in decay, and curious birds that reach the shore are seen by mortals nevermore. Here shines by day the searing sun on glassy wastes beheld by none, and here by night pale moonbeams flow into the deeps that yawn below. In nightmares only it is told what scenes beneath those beams unfold. What scenes too old for human sight lies sunken there in endless night. For in those depths there only pace the shadows of a voiceless race. One midnight, redolent of ill, I saw that lake, asleep and still, while in the lurid sky there rode a gibbous moon that glowed and glowed. I saw the stretching marshy shore, and the foul things those marshes bore, lizards and snakes convulsed and dying, ravens and vampires putrefying. All these, and hovering o'er the dead, necrophagi that on them fed. And as the dreadful moon climbed high, frightening the stars from out the sky, I saw the lake's dull water glow, till sunken things appeared below. There shone unnumbered fathoms down the towers of a forgotten town, the tarnished domes and mossy walls, weed-tangled spires and empty halls, deserted fanes and vaults of dread, and streets of gold uncoveted. These I beheld, and saw beside a horde of shapeless shadows glide, a nauseous horde which to my glance seemed moving in a hideous dance. Round slimy sepulchres that lay besides a never-traveled way. Straight from those tombs a heaving rose that vexed the water's dull repose, while lethal shades of upper space howled at the moon's sardonic face. Then sank the lake within its bed, sucked down to caverns of the dead, till from the reeking, new-stripped earth curled fetid fumes of noisome birth, About the city, nigh uncovered, the monstrous dancing shadows hovered. When lo, there opened with sudden stir the portal of each sepulchre. No ear may learn, no tongue may tell, that nameless horror then befell. I see that lake, that moon agrin, that city and the things within. Waking, I pray that on that shore the nightmare lake may sink no more. Cassilda's Song in The King in Yellow, Act 1, Scene 2, Robert W. Chambers. Along the shore the cloud waves break, the twin suns sink behind the lake, the shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise, and strange moons circle through the skies, but stranger still is lost Carcosa. Songs that the Hyades shall sing, where flap the tatters of the king, must die unheard in dim Carcosa. Song of my soul, my voice is dead. Die thou unsung as tears unshed shall dry and die in lost Carcosa. Zothique by Clark Ashton Smith. He who has trod the shadows of Zothique and looked upon the coal-red sun oblique, henceforth returns to no anterior land, but haunts a later coast, where cities crumble in the Black Sea sand, and dead gods drink the brine. He who has known the gardens of Zothique, where bleed the fruits torn by the Simorg's beak, savors no fruit of greener hemispheres. In arbors uttermost, in sunset cycles of the sombering years, he sips an amaranth wine. He who has loved the wild girls of Zothique shall not come back a gentler love to seek, nor know the vampires from the lover's kiss. For him the scarlet ghost of Lilith from time's last necropolis rears amorous and malign. He who has sailed in galleys of Zothique and seen the looming of strange spire and peak must face again the sorcerer-sent typhoon and take the steerer's post on far-poured oceans by the shifted moon or the reshapen sign. Places described in Fungi from Yoggoth by H.P. Lovecraft. 7. Zaman's Hill. The great hill clung close over the old town, a precipice against the main street's end, green, tall, and wooded, looking darkly down upon the steeple at the highway bend. 200 years the whispers had been heard about what happened on the man-shunned slope, tales of an oddly mangled deer or bird, or of lost boys whose kin had ceased to hope. One day the mailman found no village there, nor were its folk or houses seen again. People came out from Aylesbury to stare, yet they all told the mailman it was plain that he was mad for saying he had spied the great hill's gluttonous eyes and jaws stretched wide. 8. The Port. 10 miles from Arkham I had struck the trail that rides the cliff edge over Boynton Beach, and hoped that just as sunset I could reach the crest that looks on Innsmouth in the Vale. Far out at sea was a retreating sail, white as hard years of ancient winds could bleach, but evil with some portent beyond speech, so that I did not wave my hand or hail. Sails out of Innsmouth, echoing old renown of long dead times, but now a too swift night is closing in, and I have reached the height whence I so often scan the distant town. The spires and roofs are there, but look, the gloom sinks on dark lanes, as lightless as the tomb. 9. The courtyard. It was the city I had known before, the ancient leprous town where mongrel throngs chant to strange gods and beat unhallowed gongs. In crypts beneath foul alleys near the shore, the rotting, fish-eyed houses leered at me. From where they leaned, drunk and half-animate, as edging through the filth I passed the gate, to the black courtyard where the man would be. The dark walls closed me in, and loud I cursed that ever I had come to such a den, when suddenly a score of windows burst into wild light and swarmed with dancing men, mad, soundless revels of the dragging dead, and not a corpse had either hands or head. 18. The Gardens of Yin. Beyond that wall, whose ancient masonry reached almost to the sky in moss-thick towers, there would be terraced gardens rich with flowers, and flutter of bird and butterfly and bee. There would be walks and bridges arching over, warm lotus pools reflecting temple eaves, and cherry trees with delicate boughs and leaves, against a pink sky where the herons hover. All would be there, for had not old dreams flung open the gate to that stone lantern maze, where drowsy streams spin out their winding ways. Trailed by green vines from bending branches hung, I hurried, but when the wall rose, grim and great, I found there was no longer any gate. 23. Mirage. I do not know if ever it existed, that lost world floating dimly on time's stream, and yet I see it often, violet-misted, and shimmering at the back of some vague dream. There were strange towers and curious lapping rivers, labyrinths of wonder and low vaults of light, and bow-crossed skies of flame like that which quivers wistfully just before a winter's night. Great moors led off to sedgy shores unpeopled, where vast birds wheeled while on a windswept hill. There was a village ancient and white-steepled, with evening chimes for which I listen still. I do not know what land it is, or dare ask when or why I was, or will be, there. The Castle of Dreams by Clark Ashton Smith. It lies beyond the farthest sea, this castle whereunto I flee, when life and time hang wearily. Yet though so far, 'tis strangely nigh. Within the breathing of a sigh, one gains the walls secure and high of the Castle of Dreams. Divinely beautiful and great, of pearl each dome and tower and gate, it stands a hold of kingly state. Their giving time and space are naught, and cares of life are all forgot. No breath of restless change is brought to the Castle of Dreams. I walk each wondrous court and hall, their varied treasures mine it call, for there I am the Lord of all. If gold and gems of land and sea and broad estates were offered me, I would not take them for the key of the Castle of Dreams. It has been wonderful having you visit, but time is fleeting. The universe has begun to shift away from our convergence, for now.